You know that gut feeling when something feels off about someone, but you can't quite put your finger on it? What if I told you that ancient philosophers discovered a timeless way to see people's true nature, not through complex psychology, but through 5 simple everyday behaviors? I'm Kirill from the Stoic Quotes channel, and today I'm sharing insights that have survived over 2,000 years because they're just that powerful. Before we dive in, think about the last time someone completely surprised you with their true nature. Was there a sign you missed? By the end of this video, you'll never miss these signals again. Let's start with what I consider the most revealing sign: how people treat those who can offer them absolutely nothing in return. You know what's fascinating? While we often focus on how someone treats their boss or their date, the real truth comes out in those tiny moments with service workers, cleaning staff, or random strangers on the street. Think about it. When someone's genuinely kind to a busy barista during rush hour, or takes time to thank the office cleaner, they're showing you something incredibly pure about their character. Why? Because there's zero personal gain involved. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus said something profound about this. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In other words, true character isn't about what people say, it's about these small, seemingly insignificant moments when they think no one's watching. Let me share a quick story that really drives this home. Last week, I was at a busy restaurant and watched 2 different customers handle the same situation. Their orders were mixed up. The first person immediately demanded to see the manager, making the young server nearly cry. The second person, they smiled, said no problem, and waited patiently for the correction. Same situation, completely different characters revealed. This brings us to our second major sign: how people handle life's minor inconveniences. You know those moments. The coffee machine breaks down, traffic is terrible, or the Wi-Fi decides to throw a tantrum during an important call. Marcus Aurelius, who was literally running the Roman Empire, wrote something fascinating about this. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Here's what's wild. These tiny moments of frustration are actually windows into someone's emotional maturity. When someone loses it over a delayed coffee order or a slow internet connection, they're showing you how they'll likely handle bigger challenges in life. But here's where this gets really practical for you. Start paying attention to these moments in your own life. How do you react when your phone battery dies at the worst possible moment? When someone cuts you in line? These aren't just annoyances. They're opportunities to practice what the Stoics called voluntary discomfort, choosing to stay calm when everything around you is chaos. You see, the brilliance of these ancient philosophers was understanding that character isn't built in the big moments. It's revealed in the small ones. Every time you choose patience over anger, understanding over judgment, you're not just handling a situation better, you're building a stronger character. Let me know in the comments about a time when someone's true character surprised you, either positively or negatively. Was it one of these signs we discussed that gave it away? Now, let's talk about something that hits close to home for all of us: our relationship with time. You know what's fascinating? The ancient Stoics viewed time completely differently than we do today. While we see it as something to spend or save, they saw it as the most precious resource we have. Think about someone you know who's always running late, constantly rescheduling, or dropping commitments like they're hot potatoes. Now think about someone who's reliable, punctual, and keeps their word. The difference between these two types of people isn't just about time management, it's about character. Let me share something that happened recently. I had two different friends make plans for coffee. The first one showed up 20 minutes late, scrolling through their phone, barely apologetic. The second friend arrived 5 minutes early, fully present, and when they had to leave for another commitment, they did so at exactly the agreed time. Same coffee shop, completely different character revealed. But here's where things get really interesting. What about how people act when nobody's watching? You know those moments when you find a wallet on the street, or when you could totally take credit for someone else's work, and nobody would ever know? The great Marcus Aurelius wrote something profound about this. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. It's not about the image we project, it's about who we are when there's zero chance of recognition or reward. Here's a simple test. Watch how someone treats their workspace when they think no one's looking. Do they clean up after themselves in the break room? Return things they've borrowed. These tiny, private moments reveal more about character than any public gesture ever could. Now, let's talk about what many consider the ultimate character test: how people handle power. Whether it's a promotion at work, having crucial information, or just being in charge of a group project, power has this incredible way of revealing who someone really is. Here's what I want you to think about. Which of these 5 signs have you noticed most in your own life? Have you ever been surprised by someone showing their true colors in one of these ways? Guys, if this video has helped you understand people better, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to see it. And remember what Epictetus taught us: don't just say you have read books. Show that through them you have learned to think better. The beauty of these Stoic principles isn't just in spotting these traits in others, it's in developing them in ourselves. Each day presents countless opportunities to demonstrate our true character through these 5 areas. The question is, are we paying attention to these moments? Remember, character isn't built in the grand moments of life. It's revealed in these small daily choices. How we treat others when we gain nothing in return, how we handle minor frustrations, how we value time, how we act in private, and how we use whatever power we have. These are the true measures of who we are. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this. I recently watched 2 team leaders handle the same situation completely differently. Both had to deliver tough feedback to their teams. The first leader used it as an opportunity to showcase their authority, making team members feel small and insignificant. The second leader approached it as a chance for growth, sitting down with each person, listening to their challenges, and working together on solutions. Same position of power, completely different characters revealed. But here's where this gets really interesting. Power isn't just about being a CEO or a manager. It shows up in small ways every day. Maybe you're the only one who knows how to fix the office printer, or you're planning a group event, or you're simply choosing whether to share or withhold information. These moments are mini tests of character. When we have power over others, how we use it shapes not just their experience, but our own character. Now, let's flip this around and talk about how we can use these observations for our own growth. Because here's the thing, understanding these character reveals isn't just about judging others. It's about developing ourselves. Think about kindness, for instance. The Stoics viewed it not as a weakness, but as the ultimate strength. Imagine you're having a rough day, and you still choose to be patient with a struggling new employee. or help someone who can't repay you. That's not just kindness, that's character building in action. I want you to try something this week. Pick one of these areas we've discussed. Maybe it's how you handle minor frustrations, or how you use whatever power you have, or how you treat people who can't help you, and consciously work on it. I'll start by sharing my own experience. Last month, I had a situation where I could have used my position to make things easier for myself, but harder for my team. The old me would have done exactly that. But remembering these Stoic principles, I chose to take the harder path myself to make things easier for others. And you know what? It felt better than any shortcut ever could. What's been your experience with power? Have you ever seen someone handle it in a way that completely changed your opinion of them? Share your stories in the comments below. Remember, true character isn't about the face we show the world. It's about the choices we make when things get challenging. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought. Every day presents countless opportunities to reveal and build our character. The question isn't whether we'll face these moments, we will. The question is how we'll choose to handle them. Now, let's dive into something that might surprise you: practicing kindness. You know what's wild? Being kind isn't just about making others feel good, it actually makes you stronger on the inside. Those ancient Stoic philosophers figured this out way before modern science caught up. Pretty mind-blowing, right? Let me share something personal. Last week, I was having what felt like the worst day ever. Deadline pressure, technology failing, you name it. But instead of letting it affect how I treated others, I made a conscious choice to be extra kind to everyone I encountered. The fascinating thing? By the end of the day, my own mood had completely transformed. This isn't just feel-good philosophy. Modern research shows that practicing kindness releases dopamine and serotonin, but the Stoics knew this 2,000 years ago. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." When we choose kindness, especially when it's difficult, we're not just helping others, we're strengthening our own character. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think kindness means being a pushover. The Stoics saw it differently. True kindness comes from a position of strength, not weakness. It's about choosing to be kind when you could just as easily not be. This brings us to our next crucial point: emotional resilience. You know that feeling when everything seems to be going wrong? That's exactly when these principles become most powerful. Imagine two people facing the exact same setback. Let's say a rejected proposal they worked months on. The first person spirals into anger, blaming others and circumstances. The second person, following Stoic principles, asks themselves, "What can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow stronger?" Here's something you can try today. Next time something frustrating happens, maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, or a coworker takes credit for your work, pause for just 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, remember you have the power to choose your response. That's emotional resilience in action. But here's what's fascinating about the Stoic approach to resilience. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about understanding them and choosing our response wisely. Think of it like emotional fitness training. Just as you wouldn't expect to lift heavy weights without training, you can't expect to handle life's biggest challenges without practicing with the smaller ones. In today's world of constant notifications and social media pressure, this ancient wisdom is more relevant than ever. The Stoics taught us that true strength isn't about controlling our environment. It's about controlling our response to it. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you consciously chose kindness in a difficult situation? How did it make you feel? Share your experience in the comments below. If you're finding value in these Stoic principles, hit that like button and subscribe for more ancient wisdom applied to modern challenges. And don't forget to check out our full playlist on building unshakable resilience through Stoic practices. Remember, emotional resilience isn't about being tough or unemotional. It's about being flexible and wise in our responses. Let's talk about something that affects every single one of us: time management. But not in the way you might expect. The Stoics had a radically different view of time than we do today, and it might just change how you think about your own 24 hours. Imagine you only had 1 month left to live. How would that change what you do today? This isn't just a thought experiment. It's exactly how the Stoics approach time management. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Let me share something that transformed how I manage my own time. Instead of creating endless to-do lists, I started asking one simple question: is this worthy of my time? Not just is it urgent, not just is it important, but is it worthy of these precious minutes of my life? You know that feeling when you reach the end of your day and wonder where all the time went? When you've been busy all day, but don't feel like you've accomplished anything meaningful? The Stoics had a solution for this, and it's not what you might expect. Think about a busy professional who starts their day checking emails. They're being reactive, letting others set their agenda. Now consider someone who starts their day with intentional reflection and planning. Same 24 hours, completely different impact. This is where most time management advice goes wrong. It focuses on doing more things faster. But the Stoic approach is about doing fewer things better. As Seneca wrote, "It's not that we have too little time, but that we waste too much of it." Here's something that might surprise you. The most powerful time management tool isn't a fancy app or system. It's the word no. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. The Stoics understood that protecting your time means being selective with your commitments. But there's something even more fundamental than managing our time. It's managing our character through integrity. This is where things get really interesting. What does it mean to live with integrity in today's world? It's not just about being honest. It's about being the same person in private as you are in public. Let me share a moment when my integrity was tested. I had the opportunity to take credit for a project that wasn't entirely mine. Nobody would have known the difference. But I remembered the Stoic principle that our actions shape who we become, not just what others think of us. Think about the small decisions you make every day. When no one's watching, do you still do the right thing? Do you return extra change when the cashier makes a mistake? Do you give credit to others even when you could take it yourself? Living with integrity is a profound journey of personal authenticity that goes far beyond simple honesty. It's about maintaining a consistent moral compass, even when no one is watching, and especially when doing so comes at a personal cost. Consider the subtle moments that truly test our character. Imagine you're working late at the office and accidentally discover a spreadsheet showing your colleagues significantly lower performance compared to yours. In that moment, you could easily manipulate the data or highlight their weaknesses to improve your own standing. But a person of integrity recognizes that professional success built on undermining others is no success at all. Instead, they might offer support, provide constructive feedback, or focus on their own growth. Social media has created unprecedented opportunities for curating our public image, making integrity even more challenging. People can now craft carefully filtered versions of themselves, presenting a persona that may be dramatically different from their private reality. A person with true integrity understands that authenticity matters more than likes, followers, or the perfect online aesthetic. They share genuine experiences, admit vulnerabilities, and remain consistent across all platforms and personal interactions. Real-life integrity often manifests in small, seemingly insignificant choices. Returning extra change accidentally given by a cashier, crediting a teammate for their innovative idea during a presentation, or choosing not to gossip about an absent colleague. These are the moments that define character. They might seem inconsequential, but they are the building blocks of personal reputation and self-respect. The workplace provides numerous opportunities to demonstrate integrity. When a project fails, an individual with integrity takes collective responsibility rather than seeking individual blame. When negotiating a contract, they prioritize long-term relationships and mutual benefit over short-term personal gains. They maintain confidentiality, respect professional boundaries, and consistently act in alignment with their organization's ethical standards. Maintaining integrity isn't about being perfect. It's about being committed to continuous personal growth and moral consistency. It requires self-reflection, courage, and the willingness to make difficult choices. In a world that often rewards shortcuts and surface-level achievements, staying true to one's principles becomes an act of personal revolution. The most profound aspect of integrity is its compounding effect. Each small act of authenticity builds trust with yourself, with others, and within your broader community. It creates a reputation that goes beyond professional achievements, reflecting a deeper, more meaningful form of success that cannot be measured by traditional metrics. Ultimately, integrity is a personal journey of alignment between your values, thoughts, and actions. It's about having the courage to be consistently, unapologetically yourself, not for external validation, but because it's who you genuinely are. In a complex, often morally ambiguous world, this commitment to personal authenticity becomes a powerful form of leadership and personal empowerment. I'm curious, what's the hardest part about maintaining integrity in today's world? Is it the pressure to cut corners? The temptation to present a different image on social media? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about something that affects all of us, whether we realize it or not: power. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not a CEO or a political leader, this doesn't apply to me. But here's the truth. We all have power in some form, and how we use it speaks volumes about who we really are. Imagine two managers handling the same situation. The first uses their position to micromanage and control, making their team feel small and insignificant. The second uses their influence to mentor, guide, and help their team grow. Same position, completely different impact. The Stoics understood something profound about power that we often forget today. As Seneca put it, no one can be given power over you if you don't give them permission. This isn't just about formal authority. It's about any situation where we have influence over others. Let me share something that happened to me recently. I found myself in a position where I had information that could have given me an advantage over others. The easy choice would have been to use it for personal gain, but remembering the Stoic principle of using power to serve rather than to dominate. I chose to share the information to benefit everyone. Think about the power you have in your daily life. Maybe you're a parent, a team leader, or simply someone with knowledge others need. How do you use that influence? Do you lift others up, or do you use it to control and manipulate? This brings us to something equally important: how we build and maintain relationships. The Stoics saw relationships as a crucial test of character. It's easy to be kind when everything's going well, but what about during conflicts or disagreements? Consider how you handle disagreements with loved ones. Do you try to win the argument, or do you seek to understand and grow together? As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Here are 3 ways to apply these principles today. Before using your influence, ask, am I serving others or serving my ego? In relationships, focus on understanding before being understood. Use any power you have to create opportunities for others to grow. If you're finding value in these Stoic principles, hit that like button and subscribe for more ancient wisdom applied to modern life. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming video on building unshakable relationships through Stoic practices. Remember, true power isn't about control. It's about influence that creates positive change. As Epictetus said, no greater thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. The Stoics had a fascinating perspective on relationships that's more relevant today than ever. When was the last time you truly listened to someone? Not just heard their words, but really listened, giving them your full attention, trying to understand not just what they're saying, but why they're saying it. Recently, I found myself in a heated disagreement with a close friend. My first instinct was to defend my position, to prove I was right. But then I remembered what Epictetus taught. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. The Stoics understood something profound about relationships. They're not just connections, they're mirrors. They show us our true character more clearly than any reflection ever could. Let's bring everything we've discussed together. How we treat others when we gain nothing in return. How we handle life's minor frustrations. How we value and manage our time. How we act when no one's watching. How we use whatever power we have. How we build and maintain relationships. These aren't just random traits. They're windows into character. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, what we do now echoes in eternity. Every interaction, every decision, every moment of patience or frustration shapes not just our relationships, but who we become. So here's my challenge to you. Choose one of these areas we've discussed and commit to working on it for the next week. Maybe it's practicing active listening, or handling stress better, or using your influence to lift others up. Let me know in the comments which area you're going to focus on. Your experience might inspire others to make positive changes in their own lives. Try this simple exercise. For the next 24 hours, pretend that every person you meet is a teacher, sent to help you grow in one of these areas. What might you learn? Remember, character isn't built in grand moments, but in small daily choices. True strength lies in how we treat others, especially when it's difficult. Wisdom isn't about knowing more, but about living better. Real power comes from lifting others up, not pushing them down. In future videos, we'll dive deeper into specific Stoic practices for each of these areas. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. As we wrap up this exploration of character and growth, remember what Seneca taught us. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Every day presents new opportunities to demonstrate and develop our character. If you found value in this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from these timeless principles. Your support helps us spread this ancient wisdom to more people who need it. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Stoic wisdom. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Keep growing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep applying these principles in your daily life. Until next time, this is Stoic Quotes Channel, and my name is Kirill, reminding you that your character is being built in every moment, whether you're conscious of it or not. Choose wisely. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll explore specific Stoic exercises for building unshakable resilience in today's challenging world.